Let me ask you guys something. Have you ever noticed that when you're losing, everything feels heavy? Waking up feels hard, showing up is hard, life is hard, you know? Life feels like a grind. But when you're winning, you can run on 3 hours of sleep and still feel electric. Well, today what I'm going to break down is that that's no coincidence. That's clarity. That's momentum. And most people have no idea how to tap into it. But by the end of this video, you're going to understand how to generate that type of energy that doesn't come from rest. It comes from purpose. But what's going on, Limitless Legion? Or if you're new to my channel, welcome. This channel is for the ones who know they're built for more, the ones who don't run from pressure. They grow through it. So if you want to be a part of Limitless Legion, all you got to do is subscribe to the channel and leave a like, because it lets the algorithm know that we're building something real over here. But without further ado, let's get right into it. The title of today's video is You're Never Tired When You're Winning. So what we first got to understand is the difference between fatigue and frustration. Guys, let's be real. Most people say they're tired, but they're not. Okay? They're not tired. But what they are is they're actually drained, right? When you continue to spin your wheels and get no results, that's draining, right? They're drained from giving energy to things that don't pour back into them. They're drained from chasing outcomes that they don't want. Fatigue is physical, but what a lot of people are calling tired is actually emotional burnout, basically because they're not living in alignment, right, with who that they want to be, right? And we got to understand, winning creates momentum. Momentum creates energy. I did a video about that, but let's stay on track. When you're winning, remember this, guys, everything compounds. One win makes you want another win. One rep makes you want to do 10 reps, right? You feel momentum building, and then suddenly that same 5 a.m. alarm that used to feel like a punishment, it starts to feel like a purpose. And you don't even need caffeine anymore. Because at that point, success becomes your fuel. That's what most people are missing. All right? They're waiting for energy to arrive instead of creating it through what I like to call aligned effort. Okay? So, purpose is going to be your internal battery. That's what's going to charge you. Rest is not going to charge you, right? We've been taught that rest is the only way to recharge. But that's really only part of the story. Of course, it's necessary. But I'm sure you guys, have you ever taken a day off and you still felt empty? You woke up tired? Anybody ever woke up tired? That's because physical rest doesn't cure spiritual exhaustion. When you know why you're doing something, when it actually means something to you, it energizes you. Your soul is where your real battery is. It's not your muscles. When you feel tired, you're not moving forward. That's what it comes down ultimately to. You're not making progress because tiredness often comes from stagnation. Think about a car battery. If you just let your car sit for too long, right? Perfectly good car. You let it sit for too long, it dies. Your body and mind are the same. You need motion. You need forward motion. You need progress. And it doesn't have to be huge progress. I did another video about that. Small wins will wake you up more than a nap ever will. What are we talking about? We're talking about effective energy management strategies, right? That not only enhance performance, but they also enhance well-being. There was an article by the Harvard Business Review, and I'll probably link it down the video if I remember, but it emphasizes that managing one's energy rather than their time leads to higher engagement, productivity, and it really just underscored the importance of energy awareness when it comes to achieving success. So you have to make an identity shift, right? You want to see yourself as the winner first. And here's where it really shifts, because most people are trying to do what winners do, but they haven't become who winners are. Winners don't wait till they feel ready. They just get in motion, right? They act from belief. If you shift your identity to someone who always finishes when they start, then you'll start finding that energy that you didn't even know that you had. An important rule to remember is that success breeds confidence, and that leads to increased effort and to persistence, right? It kind of becomes a positive feedback loop, right? Think about it like a momentum effect, right? Why do you think certain individuals are able to propel themselves to maintain such high level of performance, right? You have to have alignment over willpower, right? Willpower is great. Willpower is good. It's a good tool in your toolbox. But I want you guys to start looking at willpower as your backup generator. You shouldn't need it every single day. If you're actually aligned with your values, your vision, and your priorities, then you don't have to push yourself constantly. It doesn't have to be this big, arduous task, because it's going to actually feel right. And because you're moving forward, that actually becomes who you are, not just what you do. So, how do we get into that winning mode today? Right? How do you get this energy? Well, like I said, you have to set small, winnable targets. That's one. Right? And you have to have milestones. If you're not setting actual milestones along the way, how is your brain going to actually be able to see the momentum? Then, number 3, you got to make sure that you cut out those energy leaks, right? Whether that's people, whether that's tasks, whether that's habits that are going to drain you without giving back. And then you got to make sure that every day you're doing one thing at least that aligns with your future self, right? That could be a workout, that could be a call, or that could just be one decision. But you got to start stacking those small wins, and you'll feel the shift immediately. All right? So the real reason that winning feels so good, right, is not just because of ego, it's because it feels good because it's proof that your effort is actually paying off. So it's basically a signal to your nervous system that we're safe, we're growing, keep going, and that's ultimately what makes you feel alive. So, guys, the next time you feel tired, right, you got to check yourself. Is this physical fatigue, or is this that spiritual drain, right? That spiritual fatigue. Are you drained, or are you just disconnected from your why? So before you try to reach for more rest, thinking that you need more rest, you've got to actually try to reach for more alignment and try to reach for one more win, because that's when you're actually winning, right? You don't feel tired, you feel unstoppable. So if this video hit home for you guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you're winning at today. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. You join the Limitless Legion. But we're not here to survive. We're here to grow. We're here to lead. We're here to win. And also share the video. But I will see you guys in the next video.